people are interested in talking to you and hearing what's happening in your industry because it gives us an idea of what's happening in the country at large. Maybe it should come from you. Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Maybe you should tell us what's going on in real estate and property development.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Klink, for having me here. It's always an honor and a pleasure. When you're the one interviewing, I feel at home and safe all the time. So to answer the question, I feel optimistic simply because the country's forecast for the next few years is quite positive. We're back at the 6% level. And the real estate market, as I've shared in the past, is always one of the best barometers of the Philippine economy. And so when the forecast for the Philippine economy is positive, I always feel that the real estate market again will bounce back and will be in a good track because of that. It always follows when everyone's doing well, the property market also will do well.
Well, that's reassuring to hear. Sometimes I fear that maybe we're just reassuring ourselves that things will be better, but maybe you can cite some of the things that you're seeing in the market that gives you evidence that things are headed in the right track.
In the right track. Well, in what we do, since we run a brokerage firm as well, we have a good pulse of what's happening in the market.
You have a sense of if there's demand.
The demand, where it's coming from. So number one, the outsourcing industry, it's still the biggest driver of the office demand. Yes, this pandemic, of course, has negatively affected the real estate market, but with the growth again in the outsourcing industry, they're forecasting that there will be growth. And simply because when the rest of the world are having a hard time, companies in the US, Europe, even in Asia will outsource here in the country. And today we're still the number one when it comes to voice and second when it comes to non-voice. So that's positive.
These are the call centers,
the BPOs, the call centers. And then for the retail market, it's again back on track. And if you follow the news, the foot traffic alone in many malls, they are saying it's back to the pre-pandemic levels. And we feel that because when you go out, it's super traffic. The malls again are packed. People are shopping. Restaurants are full. So these are all good indicators. We service several coffee shops, convenience stores who are again expanding and looking at locations wherein people are again back to work near the residences. People are still going out and buying now. So these are all positive things. And then the warehousing market, because of the growth in e-commerce, a lot of companies, especially those who are in the e-commerce industry, they're growing. And because of the growth in that sphere, everyone's buying things online.
I know we've had some trouble with this, and we've been seeking your help to look for a warehouse from Manila Times.
We're trying to find something,
There's just so much demand in the market.
There is, especially in the manufacturing side, logistics companies, e-commerce servicing, everyone, things that you can buy online. So these companies are needing warehouses today.
Right. Now, let me take a step back, because before the pandemic, one of the trends that was observed was this new sort of development design that's called townships. For people who were complaining about the traffic congestion in Metro Manila, these seem to be the solution because this is being built outside of urban areas, Cavite, but also in the provinces outside of the urban centers. Maybe can you talk about what are townships, and then how does this resolve, you think, this new this problem with traffic congestion?
And all that.
Because we're seeing it back, right? Unfortunately.
Pre-pandemic, it has been already growing. And back then, the thrust was, to decongest Metro Manila and at the same time, put urbanization outside in the provincial areas. And that was also because the BPO, the outsourcing industry, they were tapping fresher labor market in the provincial area, more affordable, compared to Metro Manila labor cost and cheaper real estate cost as well. Today, it's still the same. Big developers are leading the way in this township or integrated mixed-use development outside Metro Manila. And again, because of the demand in the outsourcing industry and because of the build projects, so many provincial areas are being developed. New airports, new better bridges, better railways, improved telecom, internet, infrastructure, etc.
Is it correct to describe those townships as mini communities, and I suppose as an alternative to, say, commuting from a suburban area or maybe a nearby province to a CBD in Metro Manila? Is that a correct way to look at it?
Something like that.
Okay.
But when
What's
you
more
say
accurate?
yeah, when you say township, it's like everything's there.
Okay.
When you're in one area,
Right.
you live, work, and play in one
so
area.
you don't go out.
So you don't have to
Okay.
really travel far. And that's good because now companies are decentralizing. In the past, the trend was to consolidate in one big area, but big companies, outsourcing firm, realized that it's not easy when there's a pandemic, right? And you can't put people all together. So today, a lot of them are decentralizing, putting operations near where their people live. So it's easier for them. Commute is shorter. They can still get out of their house if they don't want to work from home, but their workplace is near where they live. So it's becoming like a new trend. Decentralized work in key areas here in Metro Manila and in the provincial areas.
So would it be correct to assume that the internet connectivity or the quality of connectivity was not a deterrent in companies pursuing this type of township projects? I'm sure that there's been improvements now, but back then it wasn't a deterrent to do that.
It's part of the things that they also work on. A place wherein, there's a mall, there's a residence, condos, places of work. But at the same time, the infrastructure also has to be in place. Good internet connections, a place that doesn't flood. Because you don't want people to be telling you, I can't go to work, sir, mom, today because it floods. Or I have no internet connection. So at the basic things, they still have to be there. So now there's a lot of improvements going on and a lot of projects to improve the telco and the internet infrastructure of the country, which will help us, I think. That's why people are able to somehow work from home or work from anywhere today.
So it goes beyond hope that there's actually planning and coordination,
it's
I suppose.
It's an integrated community, well-planned cities. And we see that more and more today. The green building and all that.
I was going to ask about that because, that was the trend before the pandemic, but I seem to be hearing from you that's going to continue as a strategy. Is that a correct
It will continue and it's here to stay. Definitely, Klink. Companies, big developers now are into that. Healthy places at the same time with good internet connection. The connectivity is good so that people can work well anywhere they are, in their homes or in their condos or in anywhere co-working places today. So that will still be part of the current development of many big developers. And even us as a consumer, right, as a buyer of condo or house and lot, we want the area has good connectivity so that, because if you have kids who are also schooling from home, then they have that facility. Yes. So it will be part of the basic needs.
So it's one of those things you have to
take like the things that
take
you have
off,
to
right?
Yes.
You mentioned that the companies had to tweak a bit because of the pandemic, which was not foreseen, and that one of the designs was to maybe have some spacing. What are some of the trends that you're seeing in terms of office design or maybe how properties are developed? Because you don't, as you said, want people cramped together because we had problems with that when there's we don't, of course, hope to see a pandemic that often, but obviously that has impacted the mindset. Is
the
that
way
right?
designs are being built now, the offices. Well, healthy buildings as shared. So buildings with more lights.
More ventilation.
Ventilation, natural fresh air. Fresh air can come in, sunlight can penetrate the office. So it's so that the people will be less sickly. That's what we see. And there are a lot of green accreditation with that kind of development. And then on the residential market as well, healthy condominiums or healthy projects wherein there are a lot of open spaces, gardens, areas where people can go out, get sunshine. Those things are being focused on or being implemented today. And people like us Filipinos are getting more and more, of course, sophisticated, and we are also demanding that these things, they have to be in place now. So a little, if you can afford it, bigger place, buy a bigger place. Some shifted from condo to house and lot because they want their own backyard, their own garden, or swimming pool if they can afford it, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so those things.
Wow, so the idea of the office is really more than just a desk and a chair now. But during the pandemic, of course, a lot of people worked from home. Us at Manila Times, we have a hybrid working arrangement. Has that become an acceptable norm in the industry, and how is the sector dealing with that?
Well, that has negatively affected the office market, definitely. This pandemic affected the office market as shared. The supply of office space in the country is also decreasing. Big developers are also controlling the number of office spaces that they're building here in the metro and outside Metro Manila because demand is not that high. Therefore, rents also have softened in the last how many months. And it's a tenant's market, so it's good for those who are in a big office now to negotiate with their landlord to get a good deal, at least a better term, a better rate in the next few years. In terms of number of office space, in terms of square meters, definitely companies are also shrinking in terms of size because people can somehow have a 50-50 kind of work model. 50% in the office, the rest at home. Some companies are like that. Some can fully operate without seeing their employees. But many local firms, many Filipino bosses, owners, they want to see their people reporting for work every day. So there's still a need for an office. And old school like us, I still want to go to my office and work there.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, my landlord is my dad, so I can really cut back on the
rent.
rental expenses.